Right, so guys, for this week's Fortnite Friday, I've actually got a wee challenge that I was speaking to someone in my chat about last time, and that was to see if I could get a crown Royale, which I think means winning 2 games in a row. So here's my best effort at that. First game, I thought land over at this bit with loads of metal, but we had a couple of guys nearby. Tried to beam a couple out there, didn't work. Came down, but they'd both, well, I think one had been killed and the other had left at this point. So we can jump ahead, and at this stage I've made 2 brick bases. I was completely dead side for most of the game, so I built up these 2 brick bases and refarmed just to see if that would cause any sweats, some confusion. And the half and half sort of zone meant both my bases were just in, and I decided to go up to this one because it was closer to the opening into the dead zone. And a guy snipes at me and then decides to push, so we'll get our first proper fight. I realise he's in my box there, but he's a little bit too quick to get out. And at this point I'm realising, okay, he's looking like a bit of a better builder than me, so I'm just going to play aggressive and run at him. Especially with this auto shotgun as well. That might be the better play up against the pump. He gives me time to get this big pot off. And then get the shotgun, he gets the wall, and I finish him off. Not a bad kill for the first kill of this game. And then here I noticed this medallion guy was coming round, so I tried to snipe him, but then quickly spotted that he has a sniper as well and thought, nah, don't want any of that smoke. So waited for the next zone. This guy was ahead of me in the wood, but he moved, so that gave me the all clear to try and rotate around again. Try to get front side of zone as quick as I can, so that I've got the most time in and opportunity to do what I want to do for the guys who haven't rotated in, as to whether I want to fight them or move with the zone and stay ahead. And end up picking this spot, which is not, I'm not too happy with this spot because I'm almost in like a big divot, and it makes it quite difficult to see what's going on around you. Because ideally what I wanted to do was get a look on the guys rotating in, but I didn't want to spend too many mats building up to get a more elevated position. And here there's a guy in that bush, and then obviously this guy built around the back. So I'm thinking, right, both of these guys have to rotate in. This guy drops down, mess up my edits a wee bit here, which maybe cost me getting a good shot on him. And then the bush guy rotates around, so I'm a bit like, okay, see what he's going to do. For some reason, he pushes the guy that's not even in zone. So they end up getting in a bit of a fight right on the edge of zone. And it's 3 shots for me. And here I'm thinking, well, I've got the grappler, so I don't need to rotate early. I'll just see what happens with these guys. Might manage to get 1 or 2 shots off before I have to go. It's a problem with getting caught at the back of zone is you end up fighting the storm and opponents at the same time, so that guy ends up getting the kill for that. And then someone's right on me, so I box up and think, right, let's just get ahead, hit a good grappler here because bush gives me a little bit of protection, get right to front side, and think, right, this guy's clueless, so good tag on him. And I've considered pushing him here, but again, he's on backside, so I don't want to be up against the storm. But he proves to be a little bit of a builder. And I think, well, he's just going to keep going up and up, so let's not bother with that. And now the storm's on my back, which is a bit annoying, so grapple down, give up height, and start again. And my worry here is I don't know where the third guy is. There's 3 guys left, but they end up fighting and one of them kills the other. So I'm thinking, okay, 1v1, we've got a chance here. Notice he's white, and that gives me a good bit of confidence to push in now. But he snipes me out, and then the panic sets in because I'm down to 2 ticks to zone potentially. But he must have been quite weak still, and we end up getting the dub. So the saxophone comes out to play and gives us our victory crown. And I think, does this one put me up a little bit closer to the next, if I'm in Diamond 2, yeah, up to Diamond 2 81%. Which is a shame. I don't really want to rank up because I feel like this is my sort of level. So into the next game, and I decide I'm going to go to a spot I've quite liked that gets you a guaranteed shield, and it doesn't seem to be too heavily contested. It's this wee lighthouse near, what's it called? Is it Rusty something? And there's a couple of guys nearby, but I do end up getting this spot free. And I get a good first chest if I remember rightly. What's that place called? Something Riviera. So out my first chest we get a gold pump. So I'm thinking, hey boys, we've got a chance here of the 2 dubs in a row. And after looting up, I hear some shots that sound near, quite close, rather than Ritzy itself. And as I approach, I realise there's a guy over the cliff here. So I've got height on him, and I'm thinking, I'm quite healthy. If I can get a beam on him here, it could be a easy pickup. But he builds, he hits these trees to like one shot, but uses them as a bit of cover, which is a bit annoying because he's then increased the distance. But when I see that he's white and get 3 20 tags on him, I'm like, that's enough for me to push in. But this boy turns into being a bit of a demon. I get another 20 tag there, so I'm thinking, right, he's one shot here. He gets me with a good shot, and then he turns into a bit of a build demon here, because I didn't think he would have that many mats, because it looked like he'd maybe scuffed his landing. But he lets me get the minis off, just pull out the shotgun and almost mess it up. For some reason it didn't fire when I first pulled it out, but we get the clean up and on we go. So rotating in, I get my loot cache here to top up my metal, and actually find someone else's as well on the way in. So at this point I'm thinking, right, I don't have a grappler and I don't want to use my shockwaves, so I'll use the rift underneath the island here for my next rotation, if and when I need to. And so expand a little bit, knowing in metal, knowing that loot cache is going to give me another 200 metal. Didn't get the next zone, so off we go. And as I rotate around here, I notice there's a medallion boy that I'm going to have to fly over and see him in that wood. And I do something that's a little bit smart here. I'm waiting for him to open up and start shooting me. I'm not too worried because I've got big pots, so I should be able to heal up. And when he opens, I fly across so that I'm at the other side of where he opened from. And it just it buys me an extra second or two to get clear of him and make my way round. Unfortunately, the next zone pulled back the way, so again, I don't want to use these shockwaves yet if I don't have to. I want to keep them for moving zones. And so we just make our way through, try to keep an eye out for anyone else coming in. And I notice there's one medallion boy over there, but we've got a nice wee spot on this hill, so we build up and then find our bearings of who's around us. And looking back the way, I noticed that there's a boy that starts aiming his sniper at me here. And I try to set something up because he just holds his sniper out. So I think, right, if I peek a window and close it, he might snipe, break the wall, and I can try and beam him with the SMG. He doesn't take the bait first time, but then second time he does, and I get a good beam on him. But then the medallion boy starts shooting at me, so I expand out this side to give me a little bit more protection, but then the sniper boy uses that opportunity to rotate in. I heal up, and for some reason, I've no idea why, but the sniper boy, who's above me just now, decides to push me in a minute or two. And I don't know why, because we've got zone behind us, so there's really no need for him to do that. I let him jump in knowing I'm quite healthy, and for some reason he thought that would be a good idea. So now that I've got rid of him, I know that height here should be free for me to rotate a little bit using his builds. And the coast looks clear, so we make our way down. And at this point I'm thinking there doesn't seem to be too many sweaty players here, so I want to get a little bit higher and possibly start to play height, or be considerate of being in a good position to make my next rotation, where I might need to use a shockwave at this point. But good thing about being higher up is you can see more of what's around you, so I've got a good idea here of where all the other players were. I can't remember what we're down to. Is it 5 boys left, 7 boys, something like that at this stage. And yeah, first moving zone at this point. So I'm thinking these guys, there's at least a couple of them got a grappler, and I've got 4 shockwaves. So I think if I can get away with using just 1 shockwave here, I've still got good mats. And I decide, right, I'll use a shockwave late to try and get away with only having to use 1. And I'm basically just waiting for zone to open up as much as it can. And it'd be good to get a kill on one of these boys with a grappler and grab hold of one of them. So we get a good shockwave right into zone, but we get stuck a little bit here on low ground, and I mess up my edits a couple of times, which is not ideal. So we edit up the top, and I think this is old builds above me because this wasn't in zone originally, but I do notice there's a guy above me now, and I was tempted to shockwave up and just go for it, which I maybe would have been a better play, because at the moment everyone's just rotating with their grappler, me with my shockwaves, and it's going to be a case of eventually I'm going to run out and have to fight. So I'm looking for a good opportunity to get a kill, get a refresh, and then hopefully go and win the game. And this is the issue with being a little bit lower, is it's hard to tell where everyone is, so I'm trying to get my bearings of where the other 3 players are. We get into zone, box up here, and then some guy decides to take my wall. We'll get rid of him, but unfortunately there was a medallion. Oh, I killed the medallion boy, and then this guy came in to clean me up, which was really annoying, because just imagine if I'd got those medallions. It looks like this guy was quite a good builder though, so he might have been quite tough to kill. And that was my best effort, and unfortunately with that we've ended up going up into Diamond 3, so it could be more sweats now.